Okay, here we are, downtown, Main Street moves, and we're going to talk about the similarities between the 2008 crash and 2025 and how that relates to both retail real estate, what's going on here downtown, location as well, and residential real estate. We're going to get into something very significant about what's going on right here in this location. That's going to be very telling about how this retail is going to affect residential, and you're going to want to hear this. So a little bit of a backdrop right now. We've got Dargan's here. I was just speaking with Liam the other day. He's been here for 21 years. Him and one of his business partners, all great people. They had a little bit of a breakup. Brendan's is in Camarillo. That's pretty significant. Now, when I graduated high school and we had got back from college, we were in that 21-year-old phase, Winchester's was one of the only places to go. And when Dargan's hit, it was new, it was hot. I even remember when Cafe Fiore was new as well. Since then, downtown Ventura has slowly crept in becoming this foodie bar scene. And what really kicked it off, it had a lot of momentum before the pandemic anyways, but when they started this, what's called Main Street Moves, is where they closed down the downtown to open it up for pedestrian foot traffic to get into these businesses, to create that space. That was the thing of COVID times, to kind of create the space. This was the result. So now you've got outdoor dining, and they have, there is going to be like a tax, so they have to pay to use that space as well. And this has benefited some businesses and it's hurt other businesses. So for example, some of the businesses that have the fast cash, where someone wants to pull up and go, it can be a little bit, why is someone going to park like a block or two away to get there? As well as the parking, there's pay parking now. Pay parking, don't even get me started on that. I'll do another video on that. But I work here downtown, and one of the reasons I work here is after that crash in 2008, about 2010, I was getting into real estate, and I noticed the GP office with Larry Crow had this great location. This building had been renovated. There was a lot of buildings downtown that were dilapidated. It had this beautiful look. It was downtown, location. I said, well, wholesaling didn't work out for me, so I wanted to get into residential real estate. I wanted to be good at one of three things, because in real estate, you've got to be good at either finance, real estate, knowing how to look and find deals, knowing what values are, and construction. Like those three things are super important, because no matter what, you've got to keep up on maintenance. You've got to know your values. That's the real estate side of it. And then finance. There's so many financing options. And what's really funny is this 40, 50-year mortgage, comes up all the time, and here it is. And it's just this seed plant. And what I find really funny about the 50-year mortgage is how everyone has to react to it. So yeah, influencer, educator, realtor, whatever you want to call it, here I am reacting to that, little seed of possibilities. And when we're talking about finance, capital, borrowing money, money's just a tool, but so are the different finance options. So we're getting a little bit of a loud truck here, so just pausing on that. But our downtown scene, this used to be the Daily Grind over here. It's been a Starbucks, for over 20 years. Liam's over here. My office is downtown, right here at the Sotheby's office. Maybe walk over there and check that out real quick. You can see right by Fox Jewelers. We're over there. Now the downtown movie theater used to be a hit, and it's still here, but it's not like what it was. But back in the day, when we were in high school, one of the things we really liked to do, even living in Camarillo, Ventura Theater was the hub. That's where all the good rock, punk rock, ska shows were going on here. And that was the culture of Ventura, Southern California, the Momentum generation. It was a big deal. The more core punk rockers would hang out at the Daily Grind over here. So this is just a good example to kind of paint a picture of how things have changed, and then they're changing again. Now, the big thing that I was getting at with the retail, the really big thing about what's happening downtown is because the city council has voted to keep it Main Street closed, but open to foot traffic. Since they voted to do that, the chances of us getting into that 15-minute city are higher. It goes up. Now, people like those. We're a generation of environmentalists that like the idea of walking, biking. However, there's a little bit of a NIMBYism also, where do we really want to see the height increases? Well, we're going to be more likely to see that with this staying here, because that creates the need. Because you're a foot traffic and because you're bikeable, it kind of squeezes the density of where you can expand. So less cars, less pollution for the environment, but less access and less freedom for individuals traveling greater distance. That will become a luxury. That will be for elite. But the working class, affordable housing, up, density, right here downtown. That picture will move faster with this staying how it is. The small town feel of cars driving up and down would keep it smaller for longer. That's my only point, and perception, and I can bring to the table a value that I think people are overlooking this. It's not like if it's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen, but how fast is it going to happen? It's going to happen faster with this being here. How it is, staying open to foot, close to traffic. So on the commercial side, another really big thing, I'm glad you guys stayed in and watched, is that we've got the trade desk is leasing out a building here, one corner up, one corner down, and a couple blocks that way. And they actually purchased the old Bank of America building, and I heard it had fallen out during COVID, and maybe it has come back into play. Now, what's so significant about that is that they're a major tech company, so what they do is they bring in a lot of talent, and a lot of these people that they bring in, they're kind of big city people. They like more stuff going on. The food's okay. They've kind of opted more for Ojai than Ventura to live and work here, commute into working. But the thing about it is that they're very likely to see what has happened in the tech industries up north, where you have these, tech talent coming in to work at a company, but at the same time they're having their own ideas, they're developing their own companies. So we could see a little bit of a burst up of ideas and new businesses that create a lot of wealth in the area. However, there is going to be a disparity between people that are earning those higher incomes and people that are kind of staying flat in the service-based industries. So you really got to pay attention to what's going around in your environment if you want to level up. So that's why I really encourage people that if they can, if they're renting, to be creative, do the co-ops like I've talked about for buying your rental unit if you're in 4, 5 to 10 units. Get with your people and discuss buying a unit. Talk to me, talk to an expert that can show you how to create a co-op, LLC, and purchase from the owner so that you're actually paying equity, you're paying yourself, and you're kind of locking in your pay. I don't agree with trying to turn the hand of government to create these rent controls. They end up working against the renter. They end up working against the laborer because they'll fix those prices. Then the owner doesn't have the capital to improve the place, so then they're stuck. And what it does is it causes the cost of living of the other, whether it's purchases or rents, to go up that aren't on that, and then all of a sudden you're stuck, and that's the trap. And then it's like that place or Bakersfield. So just a little 2 cents about the retail world. What we're also going to see and what you hear a lot of, like Santa Barbara's downtown and our mall on Mills, is that they're going to want to turn those into housing. They've got some infrastructure there already, and the retail is going down. People are shopping online. So these are some of the trends that we're going to see. Is we're going to see density go up in downtown and in Mills, and we've got that. We're just one of those small towns that like we want it and we don't want it at the same time. It's like we want the capital and the industry, but we don't want the density. We don't want the traffic. So this one's getting pretty loud with this truck, but I think we covered a lot here. And keep in mind that that's how it's going to affect real estate, is that these commercial trends are going to cause on real estate is that we're going to have a higher net worth individual purchasing here. Whether they come from here or from afar, we're going to have higher net worths in a slow growth small town, which is going to squeeze prices up. So while we're at this level at 2025, 2026, do whatever you can, whether it's starting out with a condo, a townhome, or even getting into a co-op. Now, if you're at the luxury level, you're probably looking at Santa Barbara, Ojai, and the beaches of Oxnard, and we'll get into that in the next video.